From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening, Fairbanks, and thanks for joining us. Now, the biggest question going around currently is what has happened to spring? Over the weekend, a daily record for low temperatures was broken, and there doesn't seem to be any relief in sight.
Now, the culprit is a huge area of high pressure that is currently parked over the Bering Sea. The clockwise flow is continuing to bring down Arctic air from the north, and until that system breaks down, the pattern will remain the same. The only good thing about this scenario is that with the huge snowpack we have, melting has been kept to a minimum, and this in turn is keeping any excessive ice jams or flooding to occur.
Well, that's right. I think what we're seeing now is, with temperatures remaining below normal but edging slowly upward, we should see probably the most likely scenario would be maybe a very gradual snow melt and maybe some softening of the river ice.
Now, all indications are that this system out to the west is slowly breaking down. However, another reinforcement of cold air could mean an extension of the unseasonably cool temperatures into the weekend. Our weatherman Mike Schultz is here with more on all what it means in a little while.
All right, well, due to the elongated winter that we just spoke about, the deadline to remove those studded tires has again been extended. Previously announced, the deadline, normally April 15th, was originally extended to May 1st, and since then the weather has continued to reflect winter conditions and hazardous travel. Due to that, the Department of Public Safety announced the deadline would be again extended to May 15th. If the tires are not removed from the vehicles by the new deadline, those driving with studded tires could be issued a correctable ticket with a $50 fine by the Alaska State Troopers.
After a lengthy weekend session, the Fairbanks North Star Borough Assembly has increased funding for the school district, but not to the level requested by school officials. The Assembly approved a $560,000 increase, which was $440,000 less than the school district was seeking. The additional funds were added to $800,000 that Borough Mayor Luke Hopkins had already placed above the $47 million base budget for the district. The funding is just part of the borough's annual proposed budget, which still requires a final vote and public testimony. Now, the Fairbanks North Star Borough School District faces a $2.7 million gap due to lowered state funding. In addition, the district is currently at an impasse with the Fairbanks Education Association over new teacher contracts.
It's back to square one for members of the Alaska Redistricting Board. Last week, the Alaska Supreme Court weighed in on a clarification request by the board. At issue, the board asked if they could keep any part of the current district configuration. The court, in response, said any plan that draws new districts based on constitutional state requirements would be considered, even if the resulting districts are the same or similar to prior maps.
Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski is criticizing a bill that would require states to collect sales taxes from online businesses and retailers, even if the business is not physically present in the state. Senate Bill 743, also known as the Marketplace Fairness Act, seeks to change current law, mandating state governments collect sales taxes from businesses across the country. Now, Murkowski says there is nothing fair about a law that subjects businesses to tax laws of other states. The senator says the proposed law is nothing more than a directive from the federal government of uniform application, noting the bill is against the rights of states that have chosen not to have a statewide sales tax.
A remote seller in Alaska that makes an online sale to someone in Vermont who's a member of the Streamlined Sales and Use Tax Agreement will have to comply, collect, and file a return in the state of Vermont. The seller otherwise has zero connection to Vermont. So it really does beg the question, is this fair? And I would contend not.
All right, when we come back, it's going to get noisy as Fort Wainwright breaks out the big guns.
And there could be a new borough between the Denali Borough and Fairbanks. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Fairbanks Evening News. Now, springtime showers bring May flowers, but this year it will also bring some pretty loud explosions. Military officials with Fort Wainwright say soldiers will train with 155mm howitzers in 2 separate training events next month. The training will take place from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. May 7th through the 10th, and again May 14th through the 17th. Officials say some passengers on the Richardson Highway may be able to feel vibrations and hear the blast while the training takes place. All training will take place at the Small Arms Complex, which is located right along the highway. Nearby residents to the complex may also hear and feel explosions.
The first bear mauling of the spring season was reported yesterday. Alaska State Troopers and wildlife troopers responded to the bear mauling at Kasilof River Beach access. Now, according to the report, a 2- to 3-year-old female was acting erratically, attacking numerous objects on the street, and then attacked a male walking along the beach. Now, as troopers were warning pedestrians of the bear's erratic behavior and attack, the bear appeared and charged them, leading the troopers to shoot and kill the bear. Now, the male who was attacked and identified as 48-year-old Toby Burke was stable and suffered only minor bruising to his arm.
Fort Wainwright's Army aviators packed their CH-47 Chinook helicopters with supplies and took off from Talkeetna to Denali's low base camp earlier this month. They were carrying supplies for the Rangers and those who will be climbing the mountain this year. The Sugar Bears haul food, communication equipment, prefab shelters, and other gear to the Kalhitna Glacier, the launching point for the climbers attempting the West Buttress route. The Fort Wainwright base team also dropped off survival and rescue supplies at the 14,200-foot level, about 2/3 of the way up the peak. The effort is a training exercise for the regiment's high-altitude rescue team.
We're getting a lot of great training for our crew members and for our pilots at the same time, and we're helping those guys out, setting up for rescue ops, so it doesn't get much better than this.
Saturday evening, Fairbanks firefighters responded to a report of a house fire at 1831 Tamarack Street, where they extinguished a fire smoldering in the back wall of a garage. They found it was started by a discarded cigarette that appeared to have been tossed into some dry grass. The grass ignited and the flames burned up the inside of the garage, ignited the bottom of the garage wall as well, and burned up inside. No injuries were reported, but fire officials remind people that the grass and weeds starting to appear from under the snow is extremely dry, and smokers are urged to dispose of cigarettes properly.
A meeting is set for next month to talk about the possible formation of a new borough between Fairbanks and the Denali borough. The city of Nenana will host the meeting on May 7th. Now, the legislature appropriated $75,000 for the city to study forming a borough. The committee in January voted to return the money to the state, but the Nenana Assembly voted to study the issue anyway.
It would seem as though there's not a tax base down here to organize anything like that without having some facts brought up. There's no real way to figure out what our susceptibility would be to anything at this point, and that's the purpose of going through this study process.
Today, many parents gathered at the Westmark Hotel for an event all about education. Homeschooling in Alaska is supported by over 30 programs who have nearly 10,500 students enrolled. Today, those homeschoolers gathered for information about new curriculum, programs, and even attended seminars hosted by the IDEA program. The fair will also be open tomorrow for all those who wish to attend.
It's an opportunity for parents to come in and learn about new curriculum that's available to them and help them in this journey of homeschooling. This was a program that was created by homeschoolers for homeschoolers, and we've sort of worked very hard to stay true to that mission.
All right.
Good to have Joe back.
First we had JR back in the morning, now Joe returns after a week off. Wow, and you're right back at it with the sports.
Yeah, you know, it's good to be back, and the Ice Dogs, they're glad to be back home after getting a huge win in their playoff series with the Wild. See how it all went down. Plus, we go bowling for a story at the Arctic Bowl. That and more coming up next. Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook back in the sports seat for you this evening. Had the wisdom teeth pulled out last week, but I'm back and bringing you Monday's weekend recap. The West Division Finals continue for the Fairbanks Ice Dogs against their real rival, the Wenatchee Wild. Friday night's game was a defensive clinic with the Wild getting a 1-0 win. Saturday's game had a lot more offense from both teams. Picking up the action late in the second period, the Ice Dogs have a 2-1 lead. But Lawrence Cornelia launches the puck and finds the net to increase the Ice Dog lead to 3-1. Cornelia had 2 goals goals and an assist on the night to lead Fairbanks. His second goal came 3.5 minutes into the third thanks to a Garrett Clement assist. It's 4-1 Ice Dogs. The Wild responded with Jacob Barber's goal with 47 seconds left in the game to make it 4-3, but the Ice Dogs will hold on and win 4-3, getting a series split. The Ice Dogs were disciplined with just one penalty the entire game. Steve Perry made 34 saves on 37 shots he faced. Taylor Munson, Max Birkenbein scored, and Clement added 2 assists. The Ice Dogs host games 3 and 4 this weekend. Both games start at 7:30. In high school sports, 2 softball teams got off to good starts to their seasons over the weekend down in Palmer. The Lathrop Malamutes went 5-0. The last 2 wins were shutouts, an 11-0 win over Wasilla and a 12-0 decision over Skyview. Casey Duffield pitched a no-no with 10 strikeouts. And she also had a grand slam against Wasilla. Then sister Kimmy followed up with a 1-hitter, 2 singles, and a ribby against Skyview. North Pole finished 2-1 over the weekend as well. The Patriots beat Wasilla on Friday, 12-7. Ashlyn Mukher hit 3 for 3 with the RBI in that one. Saturday, injuries to 3 players contributed to the 12-4 loss to Colony, but the Patriots bounced back against Palmer later that day with a 19-8 win. 4 players had 3 hits in the victory, and pitcher Robin Heineken struck out 5 and walked 1 in the win for North Pole. And a prestigious UAF award was given out on Saturday, the Marion Francis Boswell Memorial Award. Teresia Schnur won the award. The Boswell goes to the university's outstanding graduating senior woman. Schnur graduated in December with a 3.8, earning a bachelor's in chemistry, and is currently completing her master's in biochem and molecular biology. In 2011, she was an all-GNAC selection and led the Nooks to 4th place in NCAA West Regionals and the first appearance in the NCAAs. As a skier, she was a 2-time NCAA qualifier and 2-time All-CCSA first-team pick. She was involved in community service locally and even helped build a home in Mexico for a needy family through Homes for Hope. Schnur is the 4th recipient of this award. And over the weekend, there were a few amazing sports achievements. Natalie Henson, a Bethel woman, set a record in powerlifting down in Anchorage. There was even a rugby match up at UAF. I went down to the lanes at the Arctic Bowl for the opening weekend of the Alaska Gold Tournament. Not only did I witness a rare feat in bowling, but I also stumbled upon a cheerful, dedicated, and competitive group of people who want nothing else but to have fun and have the bowling community in Fairbanks grow. Saturday was day 1 of the 3-weekend Alaska Gold Tournament at the Arctic Bowl lanes. On the first day, Alex Holen bowled his first career 800, which requires a 266 average, a near-perfect score every game.
That was my first 800 I've ever bowled. I've had a couple 790s. I've never reached it. Best feeling I've had as a bowler. I've never reached that 800 before. I've been real close a few times, and it's a great feeling.
Oh, no, I've never come close to 800. I have seen, I think, one other 800. Sets the bar, yeah, we set the bar pretty high. Some people did, so.
But don't let that intimidate you. The bowlers are very inviting, and anyone has a chance to win.
It is the best of the best. It is a handicap tournament, so everybody has a good shot at it. If you're a new bowler and you're coming in with a really low average and you've got a good handicap, you can take it right away. So anybody can win it. It's an awesome tournament.
Some of these bowlers are members of the Greater Fairbanks United States Bowling Congress, or GFUSBC. The group has a youth program to help develop the next generation of bowlers and make people aware of scholarship opportunities. These Fairbanks bowlers love the game and the family that surrounds it.
The camaraderie, being down here with your friends, the socialization. The bowling community in Fairbanks is a very tight-knit group. The thing is there isn't anything that any one of the bowlers out here would not do for one of their fellow bowlers. I mean, they go above and beyond the call of duty to help them out in times of trial and need. So it's a very tight-knit group.
And a last note tonight, the spring sports for this week have been canceled. This Alaskan winter just doesn't know when to stop. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. Stay cool, Alaska. Mike Schultz has your full weather forecast coming up next, and we'll catch you next time.
Welcome back into the Fairbanks Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again for a look at weather. Wish I had better news for you, but it looks like this cooling trend or cooler air is going to hang around for a while. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Our photograph tonight sent in by Russell Snyder shows some songbirds in and around the area where he lives, and they're looking for spring also. Also looking for a handout too, it looks like. Again, if you have a photograph to share, by all means send to Mike Schultz at KTVF11.com. Here's what's going on at the airport right now. 30 degrees at, at 6 o'clock after a high of 34. The low last night, 18. Look at that record high, 74 in 2009. What a day that was. 13 for the record low in 1927. Sunrise and sunset works out to 16 hours and 52 minutes of daylight, and the barometer is rising. Here's our satellite picture, and again, we were showing that earlier in that story about the weather. You can see the flow once again coming right out of the northwest. Very unusual situation for this time of year, but as long as it continues to come from that direction, it's going to bring the cool air from the Arctic North, unfortunately, and no other systems to talk about. What's going on across the rest of the state? Well, they're faring a little better than us. As you can see, the sunshine around Juneau. Also, partly cloudy skies around the Anchorage Bowl. Lots of clouds across the rest of the state, as you would expect with that flow. Some snow around Nome and cloudy skies at Barrow and Fort Yukon. Lower 48 weather tonight. Quite a bit of weather going on, but not west of the Rockies. It looks pretty nice out there. 102 degrees in Phoenix, while elsewhere we can see thunderstorms scattered across the Central Plains, over the southeastern sections of the country, the Florida Peninsula, and over the Northeast. And on the satellite and radar, you can see some of those storms here, but the real big storm is one that's coming in from the northwest. This one is expected to be a real big, powerful storm, bringing a lot of weather with it, including snowfall to Denver tomorrow night. Close to 6 inches of snow expected there. Cheyenne could get another foot of snow, and it's all being brought in by the jet stream. This jet stream is really strong, and when you get that big of a dip in the jet stream, you're going to have a lot of storminess, and that's exactly what's going to be happening across the Central Plains over the next few days or so. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. In the northern sections, partly cloudy at Barrow, cloudy skies at Nome, and some snow showers lingering around the Fort Yukon area. Here in the Fairbanks area and Healy, again, looking at snow scattered across the area with temperatures not too warm either this time of year. Over southeast Alaska, rain showers for Juneau, cloudy skies at Ketchikan. Over to the southwest, we're looking at partly cloudy at Bethel and Kodiak, cloudy in Cold Bay, and over the south central regions, it looks like rain and snow at Anchorage, snow showers for Homer and Valdez. It's a new week, which means it's time once again for our kids' weather. This week, we're going to be visiting with the kids from Chinook Charter School. Here's a young lady with a story for us.
When it rains during the winter, it usually means trouble. When it does, the temperature is not cold enough for it to snow, but not warm enough for the snow to melt. What happens is the night after it rains, the cold freezes the water to the roads. Basically, the highway becomes a sheer ice rink. I remember in 2010, there was a particularly bad day like this. My dad and I started driving in from North Pole, and as soon as we got on the bridge, we got stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic jam for about 2.5 hours.
And tomorrow night, another young lady will be here to share a picture with us. All right, here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. Looking at 22 degrees, cloudy skies, scattered snow showers. Tomorrow, same as it was today, 37 degrees, and again, more snow showers in the forecast. Now, the outlook is looking a little more optimistic as we head in toward the weekend. By Sunday, we should be looking at temperatures nearing that 50-degree mark. Until then, we'll have off and on scattered snow showers and cooler temperatures scattered in there too. But the good news is, I think it's good news, is that we are trending toward warmer overnight lows. Look at that, 28 for the overnight low Saturday night into Sunday. And like I said, maybe we'll see 50 degrees by Monday.
Yay. I think we're all done.
Joe's saying I've heard it before.
You know, on Saturday, I told everybody on Saturday that I could be wrong. That was one time when I was hoping to be wrong about the snow and the cold weather, but looks like it's not.
Now you see what I go through.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, before we leave you, KTVF and Bailey's Furniture teaming up for a Spring Dream giveaway where you can win a furniture package from Bailey's valued at $2,500. Wow. That's impressive. Now, tune into the Fairbanks Evening News and News Center final from today until May 23rd for the first half of a mystery word. Then visit Bailey's Furniture for the second half and complete your entry for your chance to win. And we'll announce the lucky winner during the Fairbanks Evening News on Friday, May 24th.
Already won. Where's love?
All right. Very good. Very good. Now, the other word is down there at the store, right? So that's how that works? I think so. I think so. You're supposed to join them. All right.
I got one word already.
All right.
I missed that memo.
That'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. As always, we are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, the latest on the investigation into the Boston Marathon bombings. That's coming up next with Brian Williams.
And remember, you can find all of our news, weather, and sports at webcenter11.com. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
That will do it from all of us here at the News Center. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you back here at 11.